Hey everyone, welcome to another ranking, and this ranking is for the Middle-earth franchise. Yes, the Middle-earth, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Yes, just last year, well actually just a few months ago, but at the end of last year, the final Hobbit movie came out, The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies, and then our franchise is now over. Yes, in the past few years, well since 2001, we've had Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and now 2014, it ends with The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies. And these 6 films are all great films. I love all of them. And I thought, you know what? Let's rank. So I thought I'd rank them from my least favorite to my favorite. I enjoy all these movies, by the way. I know there's a lot of hate for the Hobbit movies, but I actually enjoy the Hobbit movies. Do I enjoy them as much as Lord of the Rings? You will soon find out. But I enjoy all 6 of these films, so it took a little bit of thinking to rank all these movies. But I stand by this ranking, and yeah, let's get started. Here's my ranking of the Middle-earth franchise, my least favorite to my favorite. Start with my number 6. My number 6 is The Hobbit, the Battle of the Five Armies. I do like this movie, but out of all 6 of these films, out of all the Hobbit movies, and especially Lord of the Rings movies, this is the weakest film out of all of them. The only reason that being is because I read all these books. I love the Lord of the Rings books. I love the Hobbit books. The Hobbit book was like about the same length as all of them, but they put the Hobbit book into 3 movies, which I did not get. If they wanted to like make it into 2 movies, that's fine. That's what they originally they were going to do. They were going to call it just A Hobbit Unexpected Journey and The Hobbit There and Back Again. I don't know why they didn't do that, but whatever. They gave us 3 movies, and The Battle of the Five Armies is pretty good. Like, I do like it. I like Luke Evans in it. He's really good. I love Martin Freeman and Ian McKellen back as Bilbo and Gandalf. They're great. Some of the effects look decent, but some of them, I could tell they rely heavy use on CGI, and that's what I loved about the Lord of the Rings franchise. There's CGI, but there's also a lot of practical effects, which I loved. The Hobbit movies, they just went straight CG, and this one, you can really tell there's a lot of CG, and it's sometimes it's pretty ugly looking. Some of it looks good, like Smaug looks awesome. The opening to this movie is awesome. Yes, when Luke Evans has to like, slay Smaug, and the whole village is getting burnt down, all the dwarfs are trying to run, and everything. It's pretty intense, and it's a solid way to open a movie. And the battle is fine. It does drag a bit, and yes, there's some stuff that happens. Spoiler alert, Thorin does die. I did like Thorin, but, you know, I wasn't all that sad. Like, I was actually almost crying at the end of Lord of the Rings, and no one really died, really. I was just upset that it was over. Then when The Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies ended, I wasn't really sad, but I still liked it, and I loved how they ended it, you know, how they tied in with Fellowship of the Ring. That was pretty clever, and yeah, I think it just relied too heavy on CGI. I thought it was a little long. I thought it dragged a bit, and again, that romance between the elf chick, Adeline Lilly, and that guy, what's his name, Gilly or something, that romance is just god-awful, and I didn't buy that romance, and that's why I didn't feel sad when Gilly died, and yeah, it does drag a bit. The CGI is a little ugly looking, but other than that, I did enjoy the movie. It's a fun movie, but it's the weakest out of the Middle-earth franchise, and yeah, that's what I think about it. Coming number 5 is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Okay, I know I'm gonna get a lot of, fuck you, man, this movie's awesome! Okay, I do like this movie. But this movie is a little boring at times. At times, it brought in Gollum. Gollum was awesome. The CG on Gollum looks really good. Andy Serkis did an amazing job. The Battle of Helm's Deep, awesome. One of the best battle scenes in this franchise. Not the all-time best, but it's one of the best. It's awesome. I do love the story of Frodo and Sam trying to get to Mordor with Gollum. That story I really, really like. The story of Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, it's enjoyable, but at times I was a little uninterested. It started off really good. I love the chase and when they try to chase after the orcs and stuff. I love when they have to fight. There's a few cool fight scenes. And again, the Battle of Helm's Deep is amazing. And I love Gandalf returns. Gandalf's awesome. They should have had more Gandalf. Gandalf's my favorite character. And yeah, it got uninteresting at times. And the story of Merry and Pippin, God, they could have cut. I don't even know why they put that. I know it's in the books, but God, I really didn't like that story. But other than that, I did like the Frodo and Sam one, and the Helm's Deep battle was awesome. Gollum was awesome. There's a lot of things in this movie that were awesome, and it did feel like an epic. But it's kind of like the most boringest out of the Lord of the Rings movies. I don't hate this movie. Believe me, I do not hate this movie. I don't hate any of these movies. I really, really enjoy this movie. It's just, I think people overhype The Two Towers a little much, and yeah, It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's not an amazing movie. It's just a good movie, and I like it. Please don't hate me for not putting it like number 3 or something. It's a good movie. Trust me. It's good. It's good. Coming number 4 is The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. Yes, Smaug. When Smaug comes in this movie, oh my god, that's amazing. Yes, Smaug looks awesome. Benedict Cumberbatch does an amazing job with the voice. Awesome. Smaug, awesome. This movie, it's a lot of fun. Like, I think Two Towers is a better film. It's a much better film than actually all the Hobbit movies. It's just, Desolation of Smaug is just much more fun. It's more fun and energetic, adventurous than Two Towers, and that's what I liked about it. Like, that scene with the barrels and the water and that big action sequence, it lasts like 10 minutes. That's a lot of fun, that sequence. Even when, like, Bilbo has to do the jailbreak. Just a lot of fun, and I just had a lot of fun with Desolation of Smaug. Again, that Angeline Lilly, Elf Girl, and Gilly, and like, oh, that romance, and they put it in this movie, and it's just god-awful. It's so bad. It's so bad. At least Lord of the Rings, yes, it did have a romance with Arwen and Aragorn, and it's not a top-notch romance either, but I still bought it. But yeah, this romance and this Desolation of Smaug, these Hobbit movies, God, it's a shitty romance. And like, oh god, was that even in the books? I don't even remember that even in the damn books. There's a lot of characters they add in these Hobbit movies that are not even in the books at all. And yeah, that was kind of annoying. And there's no Gollum in this movie, which sucks. But I know he's only in one part in the Hobbit books. But I love Gollum, and this movie is good. It's a fun movie. Martin Freeman kills it as Bilbo. He's an awesome Bilbo Baggins. I even say he's better than Ian Holm. Even though Ian Holm did a good job, I just love Martin Freeman. And yeah, this movie is just a lot of fun to watch. And Thorin and the dwarves are all back kicking ass. And seeing Smaug at the final act of this movie was intense as shit. And I freaking loved it. Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job. He's a good voice actor. And the look of that dragon, ugh. The ending was a bit abrupt, and I didn't like that. But all in all, the movie was good. Like Desolation of Smaug, great film. Coming number 3 is The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Wow, this movie, I find this movie so underrated. This is like a 65, 64% on Rotten Tomatoes? Why? Hobbit, The Unexpected Journey is actually a really, really solid movie. I really, really like this movie. This is actually one of the most fun movies out of the whole franchise. I really liked it. I loved how this movie actually makes you breathe. That's why I love Fellowship so much. And this movie just makes you breathe. It helps you like get to know the characters. It brings in some atmosphere and it just makes you relax a little bit before the journey starts. Like, you don't have to just start the story right away. Like, get some character development. I want to learn to get to know these characters. I want to know how they interact with each other and everything. That's why I really love this movie. That's why I love the first act of this movie. Like, I love when Bilbo and Gandalf first meet each other. I love when the dwarfs all come to Bilbo's house. They're all, like, you know, eating and singing and everything. I love that scene. It's just such a great scene. It's just something that simple. It's just so brilliant. And yeah, the adventure part is a lot of fun. There's some good action scenes. Again, a little too much CGI, but the action was still really good. Brought some characters from Lord of the Rings, which was awesome. Like, Ian McKellen and Martin Freeman are the best actors out of all these Hobbit movies, and they did a hell of a good job. And yes, of course, the final act of this movie when Gollum comes. Oh, I love that scene. It's such a good scene when him and Bilbo are doing the riddle game. And yeah, it's just such an intense scene. And then when Gollum finds out Bilbo stole the ring, and oh my god, such a great scene. One of my favorite scenes in the movie. It introduces us to the Dwarf King, Thorin Oakenshield, and he's great. I liked him in this movie. You know, he was kind of a dick, but he had a good character arc in this movie. That's why I liked him in both Hobbit Unexpected Journey and The Desolation of Smaug, because he was a likable character. Battle 5 Armies, he just gets twisted by the treasure, and he's just an asshole throughout the whole movie. He's an asshole in this movie, but he's an asshole for a reason, and his character arc is really good in this movie. And yeah, I love the Unexpected Journey. It's just so much fun to watch, and it's got so much good atmosphere. It's well directed, and I love Martin Freeman and Ian McKellen, and yeah, they're awesome. And this movie itself is awesome. Coming number 2 is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Okay, everyone, here we go. Fuck you, this is not number 1. What is wrong with you? I get it. I get it. I get it. This movie is incredible. No, it's not my number 1. It's not my favorite Lord of the Rings movie. It's not my favorite out of the whole Middle-earth franchise. I love this movie, though. It is a fantastic movie. It is so freaking good. This movie won 11 Academy Awards. Only 3 movies ever in the Oscars have won 11 Academy Awards. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, Titanic, and Ben-Hur, all phenomenal films. Lord of the Rings Return of the King is a brilliant, brilliant film. I love the extended version. It's even longer, but this is a great movie. It is an epic. The action is great. The CG looks great. The practical effects look great. The performances, all top-notch by the entire cast. It is fantastic. I love this fucking movie. It's so good. Everyone's story is good. Everyone's stories matter. Everyone has good character arcs. Every character's three-dimensional. The stakes are so friggin' high in this movie, and oh my god, and this movie actually made me cry. Made me cry a couple times. 2 times this movie made me cry. One scene is when when everything's all over, they destroy everything, Sauron's destroyed, the whole armies are done. It's the scene when Aragorn gets crowned king, and then the 4 hobbits bow to him, and then Aragorn's like, no, you bow to no man. And everyone bows for them. My god, that scene is just so emotional. And of course the ending when Frodo has to say goodbye to everyone. Very sad scene. Then it ends, goes to end credits after with this very sad song. I'm like, God, don't cry. Yes, Lord of the Rings Return of the King is a very sad movie, and it's a really, really good movie. I'm glad the Academy just, took the thumbs up their asses and actually gave a good movie Best Picture. It gave a fantasy action adventure movie Best Picture. And not just Best Picture, it took a lot. It took like effects, score, costume design, everything. 11 Academy Awards this movie won, and Peter Jackson finally got his Oscar, and this movie was incredible. I loved this movie. It may not be my favorite out of the Lord of the Rings franchise, but it's still an amazing movie. This movie freaking changed me after I saw it. I'm like, oh my god, this movie made me want to watch a lot more action, adventure, fantasy films, and that's all because of Lord of the Rings Return of the King. And I love this movie. It did an amazing job. It's really loyal to the source material. It's even better than the book. It's fantastic. Lord of the Rings Return of the King is brilliant. Fantastic. And my number 1 favorite movie out of the Middle-earth franchise is Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. I adore this movie. Again, this movie does what Unexpected Journey does, but it did first. It just allows you to breathe. It allows you with some good character development. It allows you to get to know these characters and allow the characters to interact with each other. And it's just a fun movie. This is the most fun movie out of the entire franchise. This is in The Hobbit Unexpected Journey, and they're just such fun movies. And it's also an epic in its own way. And I love this movie. I love when the movie opens. It goes to the story about Sauron and all the humans, about Isildur, how he takes the ring and everything. That's awesome. And how the rings were given to the dwarves, the elves, the 9 rings of men who became the Nazgul. That was awesome. Then it goes with a brief little story about Bilbo and how he gets the ring from Gollum. That was awesome. Then it begins with Frodo and the Shire. All this happens in the first 45 minutes of the movie, and you get to know a lot about the story already and all about these characters. And yes, the opening scene, there's a big action scene, but at the same time, you get to breathe. When there's the stuff with the Shire, it's a lot of fun. It's funny, it's entertaining, it's atmospheric, and I love it. And then when the story starts kicking up, it's a good adventure movie. And when they go to Rivendell, it gets awesome. You get to know more characters like Boromir and Legolas and Aragorn. And it's just awesome. Again, there's a brief romance in this movie with Arwen and Aragorn. And it's good. It's fine. And yeah, there's a lot of good action scenes, especially when they go into the tomb. That tomb scene is freaking awesome when they fight all the goblins and orcs. And the troll comes. One of the best lines, what Boromir says, "They're a cave troll." Love it, love it. And the most badass thing ever Gandalf does is when he grabs his staff, lights it up, and fights that big, was it Balrog or something? And he goes, "You shall not pass!" And then he just destroys the bridge, and they go down together. And that scene, that one scene I never got, because Gandalf hangs on tight, and Frodo is the only one that tries to save him. None of them try to save Gandalf. Why? Run and try to save his ass. No one does. No one. They just stand there and like, oh no, don't go get him. Just let him die. I never got that. But some good came out of it. He became Gandalf the White after. He was more powerful and badass. And yeah, I love this movie. It's a really good movie. The final action scene's really good. When Boromir dies, it's actually really sad. I actually teared up a little bit. But of course, it's Sean Bean. He has to die and everything. And this movie's great. It ends really good. It's not anticlimactic, like some of the Hobbit movies were. And yeah, it's just a solid film. The acting's great. The cinematography's good. The costumes, the effects, everything's good. This is my favorite out of the entire franchise. Ian McKellen got an Oscar nomination. He should have won it. He was fantastic as Gandalf in this movie. And this movie as a whole is brilliant, and it's my favorite out of the Middle-earth franchise. I know some people will disagree with me. Oh well, it's my favorite, just a personal opinion. Personal opinion, okay? Okay? Okay. So yeah, that was my ranking of the Middle-earth franchise, my least favorite to my favorite. So yeah, comment below, give me your ranking, your least favorite to your favorite of the Middle-earth franchise. I'm curious to know. And as always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.